This is a very important and very special video for me. I want to talk about just what makes the Atari 2600 and its games so uniquely amazing, especially when played on a hot summer night. The 80s was truly a different world. Growing up, summer was a time of freedom, of imagination. So imagine coming home after a long summer day of playing outside, playing in arcades, your mind hazy from the summer heat, and you come home and want to play a little bit of Atari 2600 before bed. There's just nothing else like playing a weird Atari 2600 game on a hot, quiet summer night with the windows open and the warm air just drifting slowly into the room. Atari 2600 games are abstract, almost cryptic by nature, so combine that with the summer heat, the haze of playing outside all day long, and you get something truly special, something truly alien. The blocky graphics, ever-changing colors, strange shapes, the distorted, dissonant sounds the system made, and the glow of the CRT felt, and to this day, feel so raw, so alien, so surreal to me. There actually is a reason behind this, something I felt very strongly but couldn't quite understand, much less explain as a kid. So without going into technical details, the main reason behind this incredible alien feel of the early consoles, Atari 2600 included, is because what we see, what we hear from them is raw output of the device itself. The Atari 2600's unique architecture produced sounds that often felt off-key, unnatural. They were not like the music and sound effects we knew, but they did feel more like signals, like faint, mysterious transmissions from distant planets or distant galaxies. It was just amazing. I'm sure that we felt this way, at least many of us did, because science fiction wasn't just a genre for many of us. It was a fascination. We were a generation downright steeped in science fiction. The amazing sci-fi movies and cartoons of the 80s and the 30 or so years prior that we would watch made us wonder just what space was really like, what alien encounters, space battles and other planets felt, looked and even sounded like. It was an analog world we lived in, and a world that was filled with incredible, strange analog signals and interferences everywhere. From the static on our TVs and radios. Guys, even our phone lines would experience strange interferences that to our young minds, especially to me, would feel like something truly outworldly. Whether I was gliding along Beamrider's grid or trying to dock the mothership in UFO Patrol, as the game showered me with amazing ever-changing colors, whether I was rescuing helpless aliens in cosmic arc while fending off asteroid after asteroid to some amazing space cosmic sounds, or having a heated battle in Solaris, it all felt so real, but not because what we saw or heard from the games was realistic, but because it was just enough visual and audio information presented in such a way that it would stimulate and truly spark our imagination on levels that I cannot even begin to describe. I've already talked about this. These games could be scary, unsettling, creepy even. But one thing is for certain, they were and still are downright fascinating. This is the unique aspect of such simple visuals. They make you think, they make you imagine. Take X Mission, or as I know it, UFO Patrol, for example. A simple shooter where the goal is to dock the mothership on the left after making your way through the level. X Mission is one of the few Atari 2600 games that take full advantage of the system's color capabilities, and it absolutely showers the player with colors. It's hands down one of the most visually immersive and impressive experiences on the system. Now, to me, what I was seeing as a kid were endless cosmic nebulas, strange cosmic pillars and formations that would glow and change color in the utmost brilliant imaginable ways. Now, here's something interesting. Often levels in Atari 2600 games, or games from that era in general, such as the ColecoVision and Intellivision, would only differ in simple color changes. An example of this is Yars Revenge. Your reward for surviving the ever-increasing challenge is the change of color on the enemy's barrier. It starts out as amber, then goes blue, white, and eventually light red, which I was not able to reach for this recording. Now, these simple changes in color were, and to this day, for me at least, are strangely exciting and rewarding. The reward is very immediate, clear. It's right there, and it keeps you going to see just what the next phase of the game, the next small yet somehow impressive change would be. Tac-Scan, one of my absolute favorite arcade games and Atari 2600 games, is another example of this. The 2600 version has the 3D behind the back segments removed, and instead we get a reward for progress in the form of changing background colors. Keep in mind that this can be easily missed if the brightness on your CRT TV is turned way down. Well, for this video I was so excited for reaching green space, even though green space isn't all that far down the line, that I completely botched that otherwise very good run of the game. That's how effective this simple yet sincere and direct reward system is to this day. A simple color change can get me very excited for whatever reason. Many Atari 2600 games come with different difficulty settings and different modes. And that too is part of the whole mysterious and unique feel of these games. In order to select different difficulties or different modes in the game, you have to interact with the console itself and either flip some difficulty switches on the back of the system or use the select mode button on the front of the console. Many games come with different variants of themselves and so forth. But what's really mysterious and fascinating is that sometimes these difficulty switches on the back of the system can produce some very interesting results that I don't think affect gameplay in any way, shape or form. An example of this is the flashing effect in Beamrider, where if you flip one of the difficulty switches, the screen, or rather the grid, starts flashing, which makes the game feel even more alien and more sci-fi to me, and I don't think it affects gameplay in any way. The endless mazes of Berzerk and the never-ending alien tunnels of Fantastic Voyage, Vanguard and Laser Gates, the mysterious and ever so scary underground descent of Subterranea, and the distant, surreal cosmic sounds of Yars Revenge and Cosmic Arc are scary, exciting, fascinating. All these games have their own audio and visual design, yet they all have one thing in common, and that is their distinctive, surreal, analog, downright alien feel. This is something we can only achieve today as a deliberate artistic choice, rather than the direct result of our modern system's output. That's why we can never quite capture this feel ever again unless games are specifically developed for old hardware, which is what happens more and more often these days. The explosion in Yars Revenge is a visual representation of the actual code of the game. Just how awesome is that? Even games that are meant to be cheerful, cartoony, games aimed at young kids have a very unsettling, very surreal feel to them, and that's what makes them so great, so appealing and mysterious. Just look at Smurfs here, or Bobby is Going Home. I rarely play sports games, in fact I never play sports games, yet on the Atari 2600 I find even sports games fascinating from time to time, and as a kid I would play those too, because they didn't really feel like sports so much as that they felt like science fiction sports simulations, and I was fascinated by that as well. But it's not just the games themselves that were weird and strange on the Atari 2600. You see, back then Atari had some very weird licensing systems, and the 2600 had also a very robust bootleg scene as well. So much so that many games would appear under different titles, meaning the same game, such as what I said, X Mission is also UFO Patrol, but there's another game also known as UFO Patrol, and both can be found as Time Warp as well. Now sometimes versions would have actual differences in terms of visuals or maybe even in gameplay at some points. So between different versions, despite being the same game, those differences alone made them uniquely fascinating and mysterious. The Atari 2600 had official multi-cards for sure, but the real weird ones, the real strange ones, were the bootleg cards that had seemingly an infinite amount of games on them. Just take a look at this weird old-timey bootleg cartridge with actual physical switches on it. So what you do is, in order to select a game, you have to flip these switches, and different combinations would yield different games when you turn the system on. And there's a lot of games on this cartridge. It's just amazing and so mysterious that you never know what you're going to get, especially if you have a hard time memorizing or don't write the switch combinations down, and chances are when you were a kid you did not get a manual with these cartridges, so you had this amazing sense of discovery just getting this weird, strange, mysterious cartridge. You have no idea how many games it has on it, you have no idea what games are on the cartridge, and you just keep flipping these strange switches around and seeing what comes out of the TV's static next. It's absolutely fascinating, it's so raw, it's so adventurous, I have no words. It's just incredible. The sense of discovery on these old, weird Atari 2600 cartridges was so infatuating to me. As a kid, I would often have dreams about finding stacks of old Atari 2600 cartridges or LCD games from my uncles in my grandparents' apartment somewhere in a secret room. In fact, one of my most important and fascinating dreams when I was a kid was that you could somehow record games of the TV on blank Atari 2600 cartridges. Basically, what I did was I had a dream about a system like the Sega Channel before the Sega Channel even existed, and I didn't even know about such a concept. As a kid, I didn't know what downloading was, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a VCR was because we had a VCR. Playing a bit of Atari 2600 before bed on a hot summer night is sure to send you to a different world, affect your dreams even, and make you experience something truly amazing and unique. So if you are able And if you have a CRT TV, definitely try doing this while it's still summer. And I hope you have just as amazing an experience as I did as a kid and as I do now playing these games all those years later.